Hello everyone, in this video I am going to introduce a new topic called pharmacokinetic models. Pharmacokinetics deals with quantitative determination of drug absorption and disposition following its administration. Once the drug is administered, we can easily predict the amount of the concentration of the drug is absorbed, how much amount can be excreted, how much amount can be metabolized and distributed by using a mathematical expression. Assessing pharmacokinetic. It's a very complex process which necessitates a simple approach. So whenever we find it something difficult, we will try to find a solution, isn't it? Like that. Since the pharmacokinetic model is a complex process that initiated a simple approach that helps to estimate the drug dosing. Drug dosing in the sense how much amount of the drug can be given, like drug dosing and the time course of the drug, that is frequency of the drug. We can estimate the drug dosing and predict the time course of the drug and analyze and interpret. We can just interpret the drug efficacy for a given dose. So the simple approach is brought about by developing a kinetic model. Kinetic model, it is defined as it's a hypothetical means of quantitatively describing the location of the drug in the body in a mathematical form. Hypothetical means of quantitatively describing. Just we are predicting the amount of the drug and the location of the drug in the body by using a mathematical relationship. Now let us see the significance, that is the importance of the pharmacokinetic model, which helps to calculate the optimum dose of regimen for an individual patient. That is optimum dose in the sense the dose which produces the desired effect is known as desired pharmacological effect is known as optimum dose. So, which helps in calculating the optimum dosage regimen. Regimen, it's nothing but that is a schedule of dose of medicines. That is the amount to be taken and time between the dose and the duration of the treatment, like that. So, which helps to calculate the optimum dose of regimen. That is helps to calculate the desired amount of the drug that will produce the pharmacological effect. So that is the schedule of the amount of the drug, the time between the dose and the duration of the treatment. And the second one, which is used to characterize the behavior of the drug in the individual patient. The third one, which is used to correlate the plasma drug concentration with a toxicological and a pharmacological effect. Usually after the administration of the drug, we will withdraw the sample in the periodical interval and we will analyze the amount of the drug, the concentration of the drug which is present in the blood. Right? So from the plasma drug level to the time, we will just plot a graph. So from this relationship, we can easily find out the pharmacological response, that is maximum up to the maximum dose of drug which gives the pharmacological response, and above which we can tell the toxicological effect. So which can be used to find out the pharmacological and the toxicological relationship between the plasma drug concentration, and which helps to evaluate the bioequivalence between different formulation of the same drug. Different formulation in the sense one may be solid dosage form and one may be liquid dosage form, or both may be a liquid dosage form. So the rate, for example, if you see this, bioequivalent is nothing but here the A and the B both are different drugs in the same kind of dosage form, that is liquid dosage form. So the drug from the two different drugs from the same dosage form, that is liquid dosage form, they get absorbed at the same rate and the extent. So that is called bioequivalence. So the drug from the 2 or more dosage form, the same drug from the 2 dosage form, it can be AA, right? It can be AA, that is the drug, the same drug from the 2 different dosage form, like tablet and the liquid, or otherwise 2 drug from the same dosage form, that is the liquid dosage form. They get absorbed at the same rate, and the same rate and the extension of the drug is same. If both the drug, they get absorbed and the extension of the absorption is same, then we call that as bioequivalent. Okay. So evaluating the bioequivalence between the different formulation. For example, the same drug A from the solid dosage form and here the liquid dosage form. Evaluating the bioequivalence between different formulation of the same drug. So whether they get absorbed at the same rate and the extension, this pharmacokinetic model, it's very useful. And then at explaining the drug interaction, this pharmacokinetic model, it's very useful. So calculating the optimum dosage of regimen, characterizing the behavior of the drug, correlating the plasma concentration with the toxicological and pharmacological effect, and evaluating the bioequivalence between the different formulation of the same drug, and explaining drug interaction. These are all the importance of pharmacokinetic models. Now let's see about the compartment model. Here the body, this is the body. Here the body, which is considered to be composed of one or more hypothetical compartments. Yeah, like you would have seen the train compartments, right? So which has different more than 10 compartments, but which is interconnected. So you can just go through from this compartment to this compartment. Like that, here the body, which is considered to be composed of one or more compartment, like this, different compartments. It's considered to be, or it may have one compartment, or it may have more than one hypothetical compartment, and that communicate reversibly with each other. That is, the blood from here it goes to here, or this come here, like they communicate reversibly with each other. And tissues having approximately the similar drug distribution pattern, they may be pooled, they may be grouped into a form of kinetically homogeneous compartment. For example, this is a central compartment. Central compartment, you can see it is comprises of plasma and highly perfused tissues like kidney, brain, lungs, liver, heart, etc. So the drug is directly absorbed into this central compartment. Coming to the peripheral compartment, it comprises of tissues with low and poor vascularity, that is blood supply, poor blood supply, like adipose tissues and muscle, skin, bones, teeth, hair. These are all grouped into these are pooled into a kinetically homogeneous compartment. This is different compartment. Central compartment, they are profusely with, they have large blood supply, they have only a small blood supply. And the central compartment, it's assigned to represent the plasma and highly perfused tissues which rapidly equilibrate with the drug, in the sense in which the drug distributes very rapidly. In these organs, the drug distributes very rapidly. When the drug introduced into the compartment, which reaches the central compartment first, okay, this is the main organs, right? So when the drug is introduced into the body, which reaches the central compartment, from there which it distributed to all other compartment, which are connected to the all other compartment, they are connected to this central compartment. And the elimination of the drug, okay, the elimination of the drug, it's assumed to occur from the central compartment, since the major organs which is involved in the drug elimination, primarily like kidney, liver, they are present in the central compartment. So the elimination of the drug, it is assumed to occur from the central compartment. Now let us see about the type of compartment model. So due to the complex makeup of the body, it's very difficult to arrive at an accurate dosage regimen and interpret the biological response to the dose. So just to simplify this, so what we are doing, just to simplify this, drug kinetic in the body is represented by the compartmental model, wherein human body is assumed to be composed of one or several interconnected compartments which communicate with each other in a reversible manner. So in the compartmental model, the experimental data, it is interpolated in the sense inserted, and the concentration of the drug and the time, it is estimated using the empirical formula. It's nothing but a model. There are several types of compartment model. Depends on the arrangement. If you look at this, depends on the parallel arrangement or a vertical arrangement, they can be classified. This is a vertical arrangement. Sorry, this is a horizontal arrangement. So if you look at this model, the compartment 1 represents plasma, and the compartment 2, 3 represents tissue compartment and the peripheral compartment. The pharmacokinetic rate constant, they are represented by K. Okay, K, and the number here, if you look at this, the number 3, 1. The number represents the direction of the drug movement. For example, if you look at this, 1, 3, 1, 3, here 3, 1. This is 1, 3. The drugs move from here to here. 1, 3 and 3, 1. So the compartment, it's given with a number. So according to which the direction of the drug movement, it is given. So for example, K12 means the rate constant with respect to the drug movement from 1 to 2, right? Actually, the drug movement here written, here 1 to 2, okay, they have written 1 to 2 only, here they need to write, and when it comes to here, the 2 to 1, they need to write it like this. So the drawing of this model, which gives a visual representation of the rate process involved, that is, where the drug drugs moves from which compartment to which compartment. Rate process in the sense when it is moved from one compartment to other compartment, the concentration of the drug get reduced, which is a first order reaction. So it depends on the rate of reaction, the drug reduces, which depends on the initial concentration, right? And which shows us how many kinetics involved. How many kinetic rate constant they are necessary to describe the process adequately. And which helps the pharmacokineticists, like scientists, the person who are just involving in the research, we call that as pharmacokineticists. So which help them to which helps them to develop the differential equations to describe the concentration changes in the each departments. So if you look at this model, you can get an idea. One compartment model, which has only one compartment, that is central compartment. Here it goes to somewhere, eliminated, okay, from the body. So it is injected or it is. So if you look at this picture, you can have an idea about the compartmental model. Here when the drug is administered, it can be oral or it can be IV injection. This is central compartment, which is given with the number 1. The rate constant it is 10. So it's considered as a one compartment when it enters the body, and after that it's get eliminated. So it's given 0. And if you look at this one compartmental open model, extravascular administration, okay. 0 to 1. One compartment model, and it is administered. Extravascular means just when the drug is injected or it's given orally. And two compartment model, one, this is central compartment, this is peripheral compartment. It goes from here. In this book they have given correctly 1 to 2. It goes here, and here it comes to 1 reverse. So it can communicate reversibly. Okay, 1 to 2, and it's eliminated from the elimination is always from the central compartment. Now let's go to advantages of compartmental modeling. So visual representation of various rate process involved in the drug disposition can be obtained. We can easily visualize that, right? By looking at the picture, we can easily understand that how much compartment is involved in this, how much rate constant is, which is required to explain this. And the second one, which indicates the number of rate constants that are necessary for describing this process. First one is about we can easily visualize that. Second is which indicates the number of rate constants that are necessary for describing this process. Third one, that will useful in predicting the drug concentration time profile in both normal and physiological pathological condition. Even if you have a disease, you can predict that pathological condition. So the fourth one, with this model we can deduce. Deduce means we can predict, we can assume, we can deduce differential equations for each of the rate process in order to describe the drug concentration changes in each compartment. We can easily predict the concentration, right? Next one, it's very important in the development of the dosage regimen. Dosage regimen, it's nothing but the schedule of the drug, how much quantity is required, how at what frequency it should be given, what is the treatment timing, how long it should be given, everything it is. Just to decide this, it's very important to develop the dosage regimen. Now let's discuss about the disadvantages of compartment model. While generating such a compartment, okay, this type of compartment, we are forced to make several assumptions. We just think that this will be like this, but the assumption that do not bear any relationship with the physical condition or the anatomical structure of the species. But this assumption, this is only an assumption, right? We just can imagine. We are imagining this, but what is going on inside the body we do not know. So we are forced to make some assumption, right? And the model can be applied only to the specific drug under study. It cannot be applied to everything.